All right, guys, I need you to hear this one. You've been taught your whole life to hide. To hide your pain, to hide your truth, to hide behind a smile, a paycheck, a title, a six-pack, a girl, a joke, hiding behind humor, hiding behind a vape, hiding behind anything to avoid the truth. But what if the version of being a man that you've been chasing isn't actually real? Isn't actually the right way to live your life? What if all this time you've just been performing but not actually living your life? Something I want you to think about. This video is for the man who is finally ready to look in the mirror and say, you know what? I have had enough of pretending. Now, I'm about to break down the 8 masks that are destroying modern men today that not enough people are talking about. I'm going to break them down one by one, and by the end, I'm challenging you to begin stripping them all away and really become the man that you were meant to be. But before we get into it, gentlemen, I want you to go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you're not already. We're building something real here. At The Ascended Man, I'm helping you forge armor for life, physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, across the board. And, I used to wear these masks every single day. Now, let me just give you a bit of a backstory. So this whole concept, this idea, I took inspiration from Lewis Howes. So I can't take credit for all of this that's going to be explained to you today, because Lewis Howes is one of my biggest inspirations. He wrote a book called The Mask of Masculinity. So I'm basically just going to regurgitate what this is about. And I think it's such a valuable thing because in modern society today, it tells you not to show emotion, or it's like this over the top, beta blue pill behavior. I hate these words and all this stuff, but trying to give you guys something to try to tie it to. And I struggled for years, man. I was in the Marine Corps right out of high school. I did 4 years in combat, and I was around a bunch of like fake alphas. There was definitely some good leaders, but you know how it is. There was a bunch of toxicity as well. And before I went in, I was like a pussy. I was too soft. I was a pussy. I was raised by a lot of feminine energy. And a man needs to be around masculine influences. But I'm going to try to help you redefine what a man really is, what masculinity really is. And it's not just being some macho guy, never showing emotion, being 100% stoic all the time. While I do think stoicism does have some important principles and you should be balanced. But the ascended man is like the evolved man, right? It's being in touch with the masculine and the feminine energy, just a little bit of the feminine energy, right? Just a little bit, which is the emotions and being open, but not being too open. But I want you guys to start being a little bit more vulnerable, right? There's a fine line between being a soft bitch boy pussy who is overly emotional, crying all the time, but someone who is able to feel all the range of emotions at the right time while still being a rock for women in your life. That's what it's all about. And for so many years, I was trying to be this alpha guy, getting like completely tatted up. And don't get me wrong, I love my ink, but trying to fit a certain image, a certain mold, I was just trying to fit in with all the alphas, right? Because in the military, you're either eaten alive or you have to conform. We got picked on a lot. I got picked on a ton when I was younger. And that's what led me to sculpt and build this image to myself, the physique. I was a certified personal trainer and a coach for a long time, and I was, for so long, I was just chasing having a perfect physique and just having this intimidating look because I felt like I needed that, and I felt like I needed that to help me make it in life. But the problem is that this is a mask that we wear because we're afraid to show who we really are. We're afraid of judgment. And I spent years and years and years chasing having a perfect physique, and I basically got as close to perfect as it can get. I chased success, and I'm still chasing excellence, as you should always chase excellence in life. But I was letting my old car define me. I'm not worthy enough, or I don't make enough money yet. I'm not further along in my career, so I chased more money, more success. And those things don't make you a man. Those things, without the body and the success and the money and the titles and all this shit, I was chasing all this stuff. But it leaves you feeling empty. It leaves you feeling like it's the intrinsic part. It's building the internal value of the man and not letting all these other things defining you. So I'm gonna dive into what the masks are one by one, because they're not really just concepts, they're really prisons that we hold ourselves to. And once you can recognize which ones you wear, because I've worn like most of them. I was never the funny guy, but a lot of people wear that mask as well. When you can recognize which ones that you wear on a regular basis, you can finally choose to let them go. So, the first mask is the mask of toughness, right? So, talking about man up, right? This is the first mask we're handed as boys, right? Don't cry, don't be soft, don't show any weakness. And this is especially what we're taught in the military as well. So what do? We numb out, we suppress, we pretend, we keep it all bottled up inside. But the truth is, pain is not weakness. Pain is a signal. It's a teacher, a doorway. And if you never walk through that doorway, you stay stuck in emotional poverty. But real strength is feeling everything at the appropriate time and still showing up. So my challenge for you on this one is I want you to tell someone the honest truth about how you're really doing this week. It could be a friend, a family, anyone, it doesn't matter. But just open up to someone and just be honest. Stop bottling it up. Tell someone. You can even drop it in the comments. Let us know. This is a community here, a brotherhood, and we're all supporting each other. Because we're not all good. Everybody's dealing with something, and I know a lot of you guys are really, really struggling out there. And a part of that is we got to take some fucking accountability, and we have to get our life together. But I know some of you guys are really trying to put in the work and actually want to better yourself. Some of you guys have a negative, depressing, doomer mindset. But some of you guys, this is for the guys that actually really want to improve. I know you guys are trying. I see you. And if you're struggling with something, I want you to let someone know, talk to someone, open up to someone. And if you don't have anyone, you can drop it in the chat. But for so long, it's just always like, no, I'm good. I'm good. I'm fine. Because we're taught to suppress this stuff, to not tell anyone. The second mask is the mask of achievement. Now, success will not fix the war inside of you. Whatever you've got going on internally, there's no amount of success or accolades, achievements, money, any of this kind of stuff that will make you feel worthy. It's all a lie, and it's all just a cover-up. You see these guys like Wes Watson and some of these other, douchebags that are out here flexing their entire life, trying to lead with all this external stuff because they're actually really insecure on the inside. And none of this stuff is really going to make you feel fulfilled. Can it make you happy? Yeah. Can resources and money make you happy? Yeah, sure. It can elevate your life and make you feel better. But you can have everything in the world and still be miserable inside because you feel like you're wearing all these masks and you're just trying to impress people to make yourself feel better. And you're chasing. I chased this for years. And guess what? I was miserable. And I'm still chasing it. But now I pray and I let God lead me. And now it's from a deeper purpose because I want to help you guys, man. Because it's coming from a place of servitude, from wanting to serve, to give back. Everything that I'm doing, everything that I say, every single video, every motivation that I have is from a deep intrinsic level that's like etched in my soul because I want to deliver as much value as possible to serve. It's not about me. For so long, it was just about me and my ego and just, thinking that all these things were going to make me more of a man, make me happier, make me more fulfilled. And I was letting my success, my body, my title, my job, how much money I had, what car I drive, I was letting all these things define me as a man. And they don't. The mask of achievement is a sneaky one, man. It's you think you're doing great. A lot of times you're climbing the ladder, right? You're building, right? You're grinding away. You're putting in the work, day after day. You're hitting goals. You're crushing milestones. Boom, boom, boom. And you're always raising the bar. But I know deep down, you're not chasing purpose. You're chasing validation. At least this is what I did for years. And you're trying to outrun that little voice that says, you're not enough. More Instagram followers, more money, the next promotion, the next thing, the new car. And I know society and Instagram and all this social media makes it out like you're behind if you don't have this, and it's toxic, bro. I get it. But here's the kicker. If you lost everything tomorrow, would you still know who you are? It's a thought exercise for you. Take away everything you have in your life. Would you still know who you are? You don't need more trophies. You don't need more money. You need peace with the man in the mirror. You need peace with the man in the mirror, no matter if you strip everything away. So my challenge for you here is take one full day off from chasing results. One day off. And this message is not going to resonate with all my guys out here. This is going to resonate with just a certain percentage of guys, right? But I'm trying to speak to everyone. Take what resonates, leave the rest. But I want you to take one day off, and I want you to just reflect, journal, ask yourself why you really want what you want. Let me give you a quick example. So a few years back, I was doing some fitness modeling. I was doing some coaching, some online coaching, personal training. And my physique was dialed in, man. It was dialed in. And I started posting a lot on Instagram and social media. But I was telling myself that I was doing it to help people. But really, I was just trying to show off. And it was draining. It was unfulfilling. And I felt like miserable inside. I was completely unhappy and miserable inside. And I had to completely lose everything. I ended up losing a job, going broke, falling into a depression about a year and a half ago, and completely starting over completely. And it's because I had to kill my old self in order to evolve into my new self, into a new direction. With a burning desire and purpose to serve men. And it's made the process more enjoyable. I feel happier. I feel more purposeful and driven. And that's what it's all about, man. It's about like for other people, right? And not doing it. So you've got to take a day off and just ask yourself, whatever it is that you're doing in your life, is it to impress a girl, the wife? Is it because you're looking for recognition, because you don't feel enough? Whatever it is that you're doing, ask yourself, why are you doing it? Why do you have these specific goals? Now, the third mask is anger. The mask of anger. Anger isn't power. It's a cry for help. Now, I used to think anger was strength. It sounds crazy, but I was in the Marine Corps, right? So lots of craziness, lots of loud, obnoxious guys. And, I used to have a temper problem. And I felt like it gave me control. It made people back off. It felt powerful. And it's kind of cringy to even talk about, but truthfully, it was pain. That's what it is. It was unspoken words, unspoken pain. And I didn't know how to process it then. And anger is often the cover emotion, right? And underneath it is hurt. It's shame. It's fear, right? All these kind of things. And if you're living in anger, you're not free, bro. You're caged. I used to be so angry and bitter, and I was actually really angry for about 2 years because I was in a relationship that was really toxic. And if you haven't seen my video about that, toxic relationship for 8 years, but I was really, really angry. I would wake up every single morning angry, and I was really angry at myself because I built up resentment for someone that I didn't even want to be with. And so I was projecting that. Ultimately, I wasn't angry at anyone else but myself. So I encourage you, if you're going through life right now like really angry, I encourage you to do an assessment and start asking yourself why you feel like you're angry. Like, what makes you angry? because it's obviously coming from a deeper, something that's much deeper. Could be a lot of this, rooted in childhood and other kind of relationships that really, put us through the ringer. But if you're struggling with the anger aspect, the next time you feel yourself boil up, I want you to, pause, sit with it, ask, what am I actually feeling right now? Just sort of like bring awareness to what is actually going on. Because I used to have a hot temper. I used to just fly off the handle. Now, the fourth mask is the mask of the Joker. It's the mask who always laughs, right? It's the mask of the man who always laughs, right? It's usually that guy who's hurting the most. So, the guy who laughs at everything, like always funny, Mr. Funny Guy, always laughing, always joking about every single thing, can't ever really get serious. It's always like light, skipping around, making light out of serious things, dodging things. Life of the party kind of guy, But that guy, he never lets you in. I can honestly say I was never this kind of guy, but I've known guys like this, and they're afraid to let people in. And it's a mask, right? It's a cover-up. And it's because it's safer to entertain than to be vulnerable for some people. But a man who hides behind a joke is a man who's scared to be seen. And I remember specifically, just thinking off the top of my head, there was a guy years back. I used to go to a bunch of like EDM shows and festivals and everything. And I still go to a festival every now and then. But there was this guy, and he used to always wear this like panda costume. And he was just always in the panda costume. He was always hyping people up, always a super nice guy. He was like the cheerleader for everyone. And then one day, I remember he finally stopped wearing the panda costume and talked about how depressed he was and like suicidal and all this stuff and everything. And it was easier to put the focus on other people than to put it on him. But he finally started to open up and expose who he was and stop hiding behind an actual costume, which is actually really sad. I know it sounds kind of funny and everything else, but I've known people, just even friends, who just were always joking. Even if you try to talk about something serious, get serious, they're afraid they kind of try to dodge it, right? And, it's something I never struggle with. But if you're struggling with it, I want you to call someone close to you and just drop the act. Say what's real. No jokes, just your truth. Just share. Just be open and vulnerable. And also, next time, you're in more of an uncomfortable situation for yourself, being emotionally vulnerable to let someone in. Especially if it's like a friend or family or someone that right? I'm not asking to do it with a stranger, but just allow yourself to be a little uncomfortable and sit in that feeling in that moment. Because if it's kind of a serious moment, that's the only way to improve and get better. Now, the mask of the alpha. This is the next one, right? Fake confidence. Fake confidence is killing brotherhood. This is the social media mask, the whole top G culture, the fake alpha energy. It's all about dominance, attention, control. But real leadership doesn't have to prove itself. Real masculine energy creates safety for people. It inspires, it uplifts, it serves. And if you constantly need to dominate the room, you're insecure. Like I said earlier, Wes Watson, and look, you can just go on Instagram. I don't have to list out a bunch of them, but just you go on Instagram, you can see all the kind of guys. I don't even like to use the word alpha, but a real true masculine man, he doesn't need to do all this stuff, man. He's just like, pounding your chest like King Kong or something, bro. Like, it's not necessary. It's just screaming insecurity is all it is. And I can see it from a mile away. Oh, you're flexing your girls and all the stuff that you have and trying to be loud and just all this crazy stuff, man. It's not about that. It's a mask. Now, competition in general is important to men. But instead of always competing, I want you to start building other people up. Build other men up. Like, compliment someone you normally try to, outshine, if that's relevant for you. Compliment guys. Like, if I see, a guy, for example, right? maybe in the gym, like working out. I'm not hitting on him, but it's just like, hey, like be open to another dude who's getting after it, like complimenting him, uplifting people up. Even if somebody that you might see as a threat in your brain right now, or someone that you think, like screw that guy. Even if you might feel a little bit of jealousy, be like, hey, like ask him a question or just compliment him, man. Like just compliment people. Really important to do. All right. Mask 6 is the mask of control. Now, this is a huge one. You're not in control at the end of the day. You're just terrified to let go. Maybe you plan everything, you track your macros, your finances, girls, goals, every detail, and you try to have control over every aspect of your life, and you force, and things don't work, and then you beat yourself up, and it's, we can control some stuff, but a lot of shit in life we just can't control, and we have to be willing to let go. And I used to be a control freak, and it caused me so much anxiety in my life. But I had to eventually just let go. And I realized that underneath all of that was just fear. It's you fear letting life take control. You fear letting life just flow. You fear trusting. You fear surrender. But here's the paradox, right? The more you try to control life, the more it controls you, right? So an action step for you this week is I want you to choose one thing this week to let go of. Let it unfold. Trust yourself to handle it. Now, I started doing yoga about 5 years ago, and I love yoga for a lot of reasons, but one thing that it does help you do is open you up, and it enables you to just let go and just surrender. And I think it's very powerful, and it's absolutely amazing. I highly recommend doing it at least once a week, but I'm not going to dig too much into that. But look, like, honestly, man, like there's a lot of shit in life that we can't control. I want you to have a schedule. I want you to be regimented. I want you to be, planning your life and everything. And it's okay to have structure and discipline and all this kind of stuff and plan things out. I mean, I do that myself, but stop trying to control everything and just see what happens in life. Let life flow and unfold. There's a difference between just going with the flow in life and being a drifter with no kind of plan, or having a plan, being diligent every single day, seizing the reins on your life, but also being open to just flow with what life will bring you from time to time. And if something doesn't work out, understand that maybe it's not meant to work out. And everything that happens in life doesn't always have a rhyme or reason, and we just have to accept that. Being able to just let go of what we can't control will save you so much inner turmoil and anxiety. I used to struggle with this for years. I used to be on anxiety meds, depression meds, all this kind of stuff, man. But, and maybe if you need a therapist as well, that could also help. I'm not a therapist. I have to tell you that. I'm not a therapist. Now, the mask of silence, mask number 7. I know you've probably heard, the strongest men speak, the weakest stay silent. Silence isn't noble. It's not strength. It's fear. It's the fear of being seen, of being judged, of being misunderstood, of putting yourself out there, But the cost of silence is connection. It's intimacy. Is healing. I want you to speak your truth to someone you trust. No filter, just you. And it wasn't until I started just being open and transparent with my content in YouTube, I get a lot of hate. But I'm vulnerable. I share stories with you guys. I tell you, and this connects with people. Again, not everyone, but a lot of guys that connect with, right? Being and sharing your truth, man. It's letting go of the mask. That's what I did when I started this YouTube channel, was starting to drop the mask and show you guys. Unfiltered. And there's always going to be haters. as you start to climb the ladder of success in life, and as you go through your life, many people will love you. Also, many people will hate you, and people are always going to talk shit. There's always going to be the keyboard warriors, the naysayers, the negative, pessimistic people, the weeds of your life. But you have to speak your truth anyway, because you only live once, man. You only get one shot at that. And if you don't speak up, everybody has their opinion. Everybody has their truth. I'm not saying you go get fired from your job over it, but share. You have a story. You have input. You have perspective. You have beliefs. Your opinions are valid. Your story is valid. And you could also help other people. And if you don't stand up for something, you'll fall for anything. Fuck being neutral in life, man. Fuck that. Being neutral in life doesn't get you anywhere. The final mask is unmask. It's the mask you've been hiding. The mask that you've been hiding is the one you were meant to be, right? It's all the peace, the freedom, the love, the abundance, and all the clarity you've been looking for, man. It's not out there. It's not out there somewhere. It's underneath everything you've been hiding today, right now. The masks that we've talked about, man, they may have helped you survive up until now, all these years, but they're not going to help you truly ascend in life and evolve, right? My challenge for you is I want you to record a message to yourself, right? Just a raw, unfiltered message. Say everything you've been scared to say to yourself. Let your real self speak. Just say something. Record yourself, a voice memo, or even if you're bold enough, record a video to yourself. But at least do a voice memo. Say everything you've been scared to say to yourself. And then I want you to imagine waking up a year from now and you don't feel the need to perform anymore, to impress anyone. You're living for you. You're not chasing likes. You're not chasing validation. You're not pretending to be someone you're not. You're not doing things for the wrong reason, man. You're not suppressing every single emotion just to seem like you're a man. You've let it all go. You allow yourself to feel when you should feel and not feel sorry for it. And for the first time, you feel peace. You're grounded. You're focused. You're feeling in alignment. You're powerful. Not because you wear a mask. Not because you wear any of these masks that we talked about, but because you finally took it off. Because you finally took it off and let go. That's it, man. If this video hit home, I want you to comment down below. Let me know. Tell me which mask that you feel like you've struggled with the most. Which part resonated with you the most. Subscribe if you're not already. And I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Peace.